Welcome back to WQMD. So we've had the privilege of interviewing the most incredible guests in South Africa here on this platform. And we have now decided to dedicate an episode to your questions there at home and on all our social media platforms. So let's get into it and let's discuss these questions for us to become vulnerable because they want to know things about us.
It's safe to say it on this platform.
I'm not ready. But okay, let's go. Let's go.
So team, the first question that we have is, how did you experience your first queer heartbreak? The viewers just dive into the deep side.
Yes, guys.
Why don't you?
So I think it's something that we don't often talk about because it is so personal. And I think immediately just thinking about that, it takes me back to that time where I was completely distraught that my heart was broken. And it wasn't even by a queer person. Like, I had this massive crush on a straight person. And but in my defense, he did lead me on.
I was about to ask. Yes, I was about to ask.
So in 2009, when I was in first year, I went on holiday and I met this beautiful individual. Oh, made my taps leak. And if I'm being honest, guys,
Please,
we're sharing, we're
that's
caring.
what the viewers want.
And I hope you guys enjoy this one. So we met, and it's, you know, when you meet someone and it's just magic. It's just fire, it's flame, it's just everything that you could have hoped for. And we spent this entire December together. Like, he gave me his car to drive around with. He made me breakfast. I was still staying with my parents, obviously, because I went on holiday. So I snuck out of my room, jammer ma, and to go visit him and everything. And then he also stayed in Pretoria. So we agreed that when we get back to Pretoria after the holiday, we would meet up. And then I found out that he was involved. But obviously in a straight relationship. So the thing is, I was heartbroken, and I even wrote a song about it, and it played on a very well-known radio station. You know, I'm like the drag of Adele, like turning my heartache into power.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
And yeah, it was just, it devastated me, but also I couldn't stay mad at him. Like, I didn't know what he was going through in his life. You know, maybe he was confused. Maybe he wanted to experiment. But the thing is, it's just about, you know, bringing it back to honesty and just being like, you know, I am confused. I am experimenting a little bit. But yeah, till this day, it still has a little scar on my heart. But he's one of those people, even though we don't speak anymore or we have any contact with each other, he will forever be my first love. Even if he was straight.
But was he?
Was he
though?
I don't know. And you, Joe?
Oh, wow. Mine was actually it catapulted my coming out, actually. I fell in love, very similar. He presented himself as straight. He's married today to a woman, so maybe he was. Maybe. Fell madly in love, very young. And I was given, you know, a little gift from this person before they left to go abroad. And I was shattered, heartbroken. It was an incredible time that we had together because it started off like at the game center. The youngsters won't know what it is. It was a game center in the community. And we used to hook up there, and it started with him saying, "Sit on my lap." And I was just like, wow.
Sure.
I know, right? We moved fast back then. And then we started hanging out in friend circles. And when I say friend circles, it's still within the community. No one left, you know. And then he was going to leave for Australia. And he gave me this gift, and I just started crying. Like, I was just besotted. And my mom came into the bedroom, and she was like, wat gaan nou hier aan? You know, what's going on here? And I was like, Mommy, he's going. Who's going? I think I love him. And mother was like, listen. Your father was a player, okay? You can't like boys. That's done.
Finish and
Finish
klaar.
and clap. But my heart was so broken. I was so in love with him.
Do you still have contact with him today?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously still on social media.
Do you do the occasional stalking now and
I
again?
do the occasional. And he knows I stalk.
And you're the one who goes to the last picture.
I am accidentally liking. But it was mine, and it was very weird. But I can remember feeling every single emotion, and again, it assisted me in getting the words out of my mouth to my mom to say to her, "I think I'm gay." Yeah, so it was mine.
So that was the beginning of the end for you. is that what I'm gathering?
It was done. It was done. I then knew what was going on here.
It's so sad.
And teens, you?
Me, and you know what? Now that you bring this up, guys, this I
Don't
haven't
blame
actually
me.
The viewers.
The viewers want to know.
The thing is, I haven't actually really spoken about this to anyone except my partner, my current partner. And it was my first love was in high school, and at the time was the love of my life and was my girlfriend, like towards the end of high school and into what's this, varsity.
Varsity, university.
Yeah, university. And honestly, I thought it was the most, I wouldn't change a thing if I had to go back. It was the most unbelievable relationship, and it was full of love. But obviously we're young and we're figuring ourselves out and we're trying to, I don't know, we're growing into ourselves. And I felt like for me, perhaps, I felt myself growing at a different pace, discovering things about myself that needed my full attention, and I was unable to support this person in the relationship. And so my heart breaks a bit different because I was the one who asked to step away from the relationship. And in doing so, there were so many mistakes and there were so many, it was a roller coaster of emotions. And I mean, I wouldn't change anything. I learned so much from that, and I learned so much about myself. And I think I'll always love this person. And me also, I did a little stalky stalk.
I thought you had stock found. I was like, bitch, I did a stock found.
I did a little stalk, and look, they're happy. And I spoke to my current partner about it. I was like, I would love to reach out and be like, look, I understand now. Like in hindsight, I know what I could have done better, and I know how I could. Like I couldn't have done it then, but I would love to just let that go.
Beauty. That's the beauty of growing older and, making peace with who you are and finding who you are and, being with a partner. Can't relate. But there's no one on earth ready yet to tame this. But you can send suggestions.
Thank you.
I will take it. But it's like you say, looking back, you don't want to change anything because to a certain sense, it's also formed and helped you to become the person that you are today.
Absolutely.
And I think that is, as much as there was heartache and pain and tears and you felt like, oh, I can't go on, it's really helped you and brought you to this point in your life.
Yeah.
Shall we do the next question?
I think so. Sure.
Right now.
Question number 2. In South Africa, we have BEE, which is Black Economic Empowerment. But is there space in our society for QEE, Queer Economic Empowerment?
Interesting. Oi!
Yeah, going straight to you.
Well, I think it's a really, really good question. And I do recognize the need for spaces that uplift communities, especially in capitalism and. So whilst it sounds like a great idea in
Retrospect.
yeah, I do think that again it will break down in the way that BE has. So still the people who are in those communities who are in power are going to be the ones that still benefit from an organization like that. I think it will be the same with a queer QEE. And
Although I do want to add, there are some companies that have, like BEE, you have to have a certain quota filled in that position in a company. There are companies like that. And I think one, if I think on the top of my head, is Shell, where they have a certain percentage of individuals who work for them that need to fill out a queer spectrum, which can go either way. So you're like, am I just a quota to you? Or do I just need to fill a spot? Or are you really putting me in there, so that I become part of your company to its full potential and not just exploit me for the fact of having me as a status, if I can put it that way.
I mean, ideally, something like that would work, but I do think that when something is state-owned, there is like very strict procedures on how to, and it won't always reach the people who need
to be affected by the QEE.
Yeah, who need this QEE, who need the BE or whatever is put in place. So, like something like, for example, we were speaking outside, and you were saying that in Cape Town, there used to be restaurants where they'd have the gay flag waving outside, and this is a safe space for me to come in. Yeah. If we as or businesses could do something that's more like civil run, where they make sure that they have a stamp or something that says
And not just during the month of October.
Yes, not just during the
month of October.
Yes, that's me rolling my eyes. Yeah.
Consistent.
Right, to say that like, hey, we fully support the queer community. Come here, come chow, whatever the situation may be. And then it feels like the onus is on us now to kind of like, I don't know, walk into these restaurants and bring people into these restaurants. And it feels more like a community-driven
initiative, if you can put it that way.
Right,
Yeah.
then it is
I think
state.
for me, and just also again adding to it, is that the QEE, and to my understanding, again I stand corrected, is that the BEE side there is in terms of I'm an entrepreneur as well. So in this spectrum, I'm looking at it from a perspective of I'm always asked, what of your business? How many people? What's the percentage that's black owned in your business in order for me to be eligible, correct, to apply for a tender or to even receive work from a corporate, because everybody's trying to balance out this BEE. Quota. So I would, I am for this. I am for it. Thank you so much for asking this question. I am for the QEE because it would not only then just empower us as the queer community to fill more space, because that's what we are doing here, right? As the community, we need to go in and fill more space to show that we are actually capable, that we are actually in positions and we have power to actually do what is required.
But you see, then I would change it from QEE to QEV. So it becomes queer economic visibility.
Ooh, I love that.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
So that we're taking up space, we are making our voices heard, and not just to become a status or a quota or anything.
And
Do you
I
not think, though, that the downfall in that might be that queer people then become tokens in businesses and become just quota?
to be very honest, I'm very open to be a token right now.
Listen, this is my
Give me
CV.
the platform. Token me.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, too many of us are suppressed, right? So and then we got this, and I hear what you're speaking in terms of the balance going out now, that if it's on the governmental side, it's then the BEE people who are in power will have the power and they will still dominate that space. But if we are granted this opportunity as the community, and we don't depend on the corporates, and if we as the community create our own QEE and we push that movement forward together, that could really be something powerful, because now we're supporting each other.
But then again,
And that's the magic.
we are thinking idealistically again, because what makes you think the people in power are going to give us that space? If it's benefiting
If they
them,
can't even give us our rights fully, how are we going to be?
If it is benefiting them so much, right,
So,
to be in that position of power.
Give me the platform. So this is the moment I'm trying to say in terms of that, it's us coming together and creating that environment for each other. And let us be the community who support each other. And even there was an internal thing. So if we're saying there's a stamp, there's a flag, you know, I'm going to go and buy this dress because that stamp means that there's a gay community involved here. And we then end up supporting each other as the community and also forming our own. What was your new the QEV? The
QEV, yes.
QEV. So that
Queer
you
economic visibility.
So you they know that this garment was made by
QEV. It's okay. It's okay.
By QEV.
Yes.
So I think if we do it as an internal thing, I think it could be quite a powerful movement, not from a governmental side.
Okay, Joe, so before you sell yourself too much, let's move on to question number 3. Have any of you ever used any online dating apps, and what has been your worst experience thus far?
Over to you.
Why me first?
I don't know. I feel like this is what you should start with.
So I'm going to be honest, like I have no problem with online dating sites. And I think there's a very big stigma around it where we need to feel shame for being on these sites. And I, for one, is just like, I'm on Grindr. If you see me, say hey. But many years ago, when I was also still in university, I had quite a bad experience. I was invited to a braai. And being
on Grindr?
Yes, on Grindr. So being this young, naive little boy just wanting to experience life, I was like, yes, without like doing proper, you know, like not interrogation, but like finding out legitimate facts and stuff that one needs to know before going to a stranger's house.
Right.
And I got there and I was under the impression that it was only going to be us, so me and this couple. And then when I got there, there was a group of people. And I was like, okay, but this is a bit weird. And we sat outside and I felt so awkward. And there was this little bowl of muffins. And me being a stress eater, like just chowed these muffins. And then later found out, obviously, and felt it, that it was space cakes.
Oh, okay. It's just
So
okay.
I was just like, I was completely out of it. And
Oh,
then
my word.
obviously people started getting drunk and going crazy, and some people started disappearing. And I was just like thinking, when are we going to braai? Because I'm hella hungry. And eventually there was this drunk guy sitting at the counter in the kitchen, but he was sloshed and he was just like lying on the counter. And then I realized that, but listen, basically everyone is gone. And then one of the hosts, one of the guys that invited me, and they were like, are you going to come up? We're waiting just for you. And I was like, waiting just, like, what does that mean? And then I realized I walked into an orgy where I was going to be the center of attention.
What?
So I was just like, give me 2 seconds, I'll be right up. And I went into the bathroom and I was literally sitting there and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Da, 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 da. And eventually, because when I drove into the estate, it was like one of those where you have to put in a little key code to get in and out. Yes. And obviously it's just one way in, and then there's like a general one for getting out. And luckily, when I got there, I parked outside. So I was sitting in this bathroom, I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I got out and I went to the guy that was lying sloshed on the counter, and I was like, do you by any chance like know the code of the gate? You know, just for later, you know, if I want to leave, whatever. And he just like pointed to the fridge, and there was like all these little sticky notes like on the fridge with like, less like 6 or 7 with like little codes on them. And I just took all of them, climbed out of the window because the door was locked, jumped over the palisades into my car, drove to the gate, like punched in every single number on there. Luckily, I think it looks like the 4th or the 5th one, and the gate just opened. Oh, wow. And I was just like out of there.
What?
But it didn't scare me off, like from not going on these apps. It just taught me to be a lot more cautious.
But now, so these people invited you to an orgy without your consent,
Yeah.
and locked you in the house.
But that's the thing.
That is so scary.
But again, like I really think like I was being taken advantage of, and thinking, them being older, that I'm this young, innocent little person that doesn't know shit. And yes, I didn't let anyone know where I was going. I didn't, you know, drop a pin to anyone. I didn't mix it anyone saying like, this is where I'm going to be. So that was very irresponsible on my part. But also, people need to be better, not to catfish and lure people in with false intentions and pretense. Yeah, but here I am today, still on Grindr. Like, I don't mind it. For me, I love being on there because I get to talk to a lot of different individuals. And for me, not being really in the club scene, on the queer scene, it's nice for me to interact with the people like that and getting to know people's stories. And, not people aren't just on there for sex and, promiscuity and all those type of things. Some people just really want to have a nice little conversation. Yeah. And you, Jodes?
Oh, it's me.
I
I looked to see that. Well, mine was, I have, firstly, as well, in full agreement, I have absolutely nothing against online dating and those platforms. But mine was also in Cape Town, when I was living in Cape Town, still searching out there. And mine was crochet. I felt quite sad for myself that day. I was chatting to this guy, and we ran with, and then I ended up driving to Camps Bay, and they had this beautiful home and everything, whatever have you. And he was looking for companionship. And when I say companionship, like for the night.
Oh, okay.
Only.
Okay.
And I was looking for marriage. And you must also understand this little Clara boy driving up to this beautiful house in Camps Bay. I saw myself making breakfast there every day. I saw the children. I saw the little children. You got in. This guy didn't even greet me properly. You literally said to me, take your clothes off. Anyway, here I was taking my clothes off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then, when we were done, it was almost like, thank you.
Wait, so here's my thing. This man didn't make it clear. Did he make it clear that it's a one-night situation?
No. Then we were chatting for a while, because you know how it is on Grindr, you're chatting, you're getting to know this person. I knew where he was from, I knew his family, and and why he was living in Cape Town, South Africa. And so when I got there, it was like, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's the one. He's the one.
I know we're laughing about this, but
It sucks.
you probably
this is-
felt so stupid.
Broken.
No,
I was
of course
broken.
not.
Yeah, that was broken. So that was my worst experience on Grindr.
The fact that you didn't get wed when you got there.
No. And it was, I think it was weird because it's like you're saying, it's a platform for us to communicate to different people, but some people just want what they want.
Yeah, but you must be clear from the jump.
I was young.
Jody, I'm angry for
Everything
you.
happened when we were younger.
Yes,
wiser and older
older
now.
now,
We know.
Yeah.
Teens?
Oh, me too. I mean, you
She
know.
also just said thank you.
No, mine is actually hilarious. Okay, so I was on Tindles, and I was like, okay, I had come out of a long relationship, and my friends made a profile for me, and they were like, you gotta get out. And I was like, no. And then I went on Tinder, and I matched with the first person. And I was like, woo! And it goes matched, and I was like, wow!
The search is over.
Yeah. And then we started speaking, and I was in Durban at the time, and I was doing like a frisbee tournament. Guys, frisbee is a real competitive sport. No, for real. And I was there, and at the time I'd started a new job, and this is important. This was my first TV job, and it was airing at the time. Okay, this is important.
You were a face to be recognized.
Yeah, and so I messaged them, and they were like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Actually, what are you?" And they were like, and then I was like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "Hey, I've just come back from California. I'm touring hockey, blah 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 blah." Everything seemed real.
Yeah.
So only because my best friend, who was with me at the time, was also doing this. Like, they were touring, they were SA coach for hockey, blah blah blah. So eventually in the night, I'm like, listen, I'm going to leave Durban very soon, and I'm going to go back to Joburg. Maybe I'll see you. By the way, I'm on the show. Catch me at this time. And that's where we can kind of virtually meet. So it was so cutesy. And then they were like, okay, cool. I'm going to check your show. 6 a.m. in the morning when I'm waking up for the tournament, there's like paragraph. They're like, hey, yo, listen, I saw your show and I thought it was really cool. Listen, I'm not who I am. I'm not who you think I am. My name is so-and-so and so, blah, 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 blah. And everything I told you was real, blah, blah, blah. And in my heart, I'm like, because I believe them and I like them. And then I show my friend, and my friend's like, "What's their name?" "Oh, she's on my hockey team. I coach." I coach this girl. I'm literally going there now.
Did you go?
No. I was like, no ways. And that was hilarious. We laughed about it. And then I just was like, I'm never going online dating again. I called my mom. I'm like, Mom. And my mom's like, wow, they just mess up everything for everyone. Just mess up the fun. And that's
Is your mom from Forbes?
literally that's my voice for everyone. But that's what happened.
Jody. But you see, that's the thing as well with online platforms. It's like people, I think, sometimes create these. Jody, get it out of your system. I think people create these idealistic images of what they would really want to do, and then when push comes to shove, and they actually have to meet someone after, creating this whole world or illusion. It's
Can I just say, I saw them on Instagram. I was like, I would have swiped right anyway. I was like, what's going on?
well, it's their
Insecurity.
loss.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Shall we move on to the last question?
Yes, wow.
Let's hope it's a juicy one. Okay, so the last question is a twofold one. So listen carefully. So the first one is, or the first part of the question is, what is your most memorable memory from season 1 and 2? And then the second part is, will we ever get another panelist for future WKMD series?
Okay, my most memorable moments
Yes.
is we'd done this show and we were so proud of what we created, and then boom, Feather Award. I was like, what?
That is quite
and
big.
we were
Because we
going
were
up-
only running for 6 months.
I mean, I couldn't believe
when that
it.
happened.
I could not believe it. And honestly, that was like super proud. I felt super proud. And I guess the most memorable at the top of my head right now is going into season 2 saying, WKMD Feather Award winning, shibidi-bidi-bidi.
It did have a nice ring to it.
A ring to it.
It's a shibidi for me.
No, I just couldn't believe it. It just showed how important our show was and that people were watching.
Like
and
it
they
was
needed-
making a change and a difference in people's lives.
And it was needed, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
there was definitely a platform and a space that we went into to unfold that people actually were looking for. And I think that's,
Most memorable moment?
I think for me, because it's still, and I go to season 1, it was incredible for me to absorb all the information that was given, to us, and even see that here today in season 3, episode 3. It's like I'm having moments where I'm not the same person who sat, on the first couch, and the information that we received and our conversations off camera are so different. The identification, are you non-binary? How do you identify right now? Are you a cis male? Those type of things are incredible. But the information for me from season 1 was when we had the transgender
Landa.
person. Yes.
Landa.
The fact that it took 20 years, you had to wait for 20 years to have your
surgery,
your
reassignment surgery.
And that for me was still one of the most profound moments where I thought to myself, wow, that must be so insane to live in a body that you do not identify with. And because you don't have medical aid and because you're going to have to wait for 20 years from the moment that you can actually make the decision. So that for me was one of the moments that actually touched me because I think as we grew and as we became and as we educated ourselves, I started understanding. And when you understand, you somehow sympathize and relate, And I think that for me was one of the most profound moments in season 1.
I would rather say empathize
Yes,
rather than
thank you.
sympathize.
Thank you for
yeah.
correcting me there, because I heard myself as well.
For me, one of the most memorable moments was, and it's not from season 1 or season 2. It was when we did our promo shoot for season 1. Because it's coming to fruition. It was an idea that I had, and when I contacted all of you guys and like, hi, do you want to be a part of this little show that I don't know where it's going yet? You all just jumped on board. And for me, it's such a memorable moment because people believe in you, or people believed in me. And here we are, season 3.
Season 3.
And I'll be forever grateful for everybody that has contributed from that first day at the promo shoot all the way up to this season. So I just want to say thank you to you guys and to everyone watching. Without you guys, it is not possible. Now the hard question. Are we going to have a fourth member for the next season? Don't look at me. I'm just the producer. No, the thing is, I miss Yaku. I really feel like his presence is not here, but I know that he is with us in spirit. But I think it's a thing that should happen organically. I don't know if you guys feel the same. Obviously, it's also finding someone that mixes with our energies and is on the same playing field as us. And also someone that can handle Jody.
Well,
there's not a lot of people out there.
I might see them and just want to have kids and get married.
You never know. We know now you jumped the gun quite quickly. But yeah, I think it's something that should happen organically. And who knows, maybe we will hold auditions for people to be the fourth panelist in the fourth season. I'm very excited to see where the show goes, and I can't wait for people to see what the rest of this season holds. We have such incredible guests and topics.
can we just take a moment?
For me.
Honestly, yes,
jokes
you.
aside.
But just look how far we've come.
We've come, and we've all grown. If I have to look at you guys from season 1, like, it's not the same people. Yeah. Like, we've all grown, we've all learned, we've educated ourselves. Like, we've gone out and did the research on stuff that we didn't know. And it has made us who we are today. And you guys are clever, man. You are clever now.
Hey, Danny.
I just want to say thank you so much to the viewers for all these beautiful questions. If you have more questions, please pop it onto us on our Instagram or our Facebook pages at We're Queer My Dear SA. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the season.
We love you.